pinched the bridge of her nose. She dragged the pad of her thumb up, smoothing the deep furrow between her brows, vaguely wondering if she should have gone for the fillers she'd so adamantly refused. I mentioned there are options they could explore. She would rather be roasted like a succulent 42-year-old pig on a spit than suggest poor Bixby have his vocal cords permanently remedied. Bethany sighed dramatically. I'm going to have to take this up the chain. Bethany, a primary school teacher who dressed like an investment banker, was among the worst of Ness's tenants. Not because she had a beagle who howled like a deranged werewolf yet persisted in complaining about the cat upstairs. Not even because she refused to close her windows while maxing out the air conditioning in the summertime. No, Ness hated Bethany because every time she had to go into that apartment to address a usually fabricated issue, her photo would surface, featured in whatever happened to articles, or upvoted on Reddit threads about celebs of yesteryear. There Ness would be, bungling her way through hanging a new door, or her personal favorite, wielding a plunger, an expression of great determination on her sweating face. Ness pulled the phone away from her ear long enough to check the time and confirm that she was definitely going to be late. As she heaved herself to standing and started the circus act of getting changed, a phone edged under the door of the stall. Taking a split second to mute her end of the call, Ness flicked the lock and flung the door open with a bang, yanking the fresh shirt down as she went. "Are you serious?" she blurted, but the women were already halfway out of the lobby bathroom. She considered trying to catch them, or at least making a report to security, but Bethany's voice rose in pitch to a nasal whine usually associated with teenagers or nearly dead car engines, dragging her attention to the phone in her hand. Back in the bathroom stall, she leaned against the cool metal of the partition and closed her eyes, trying to remain calm. She muttered some choice words for Bethany and the world at large, then unmuted. "Bethany, I am the chain. You're welcome to send another formal letter of complaint if it'll make you feel better. Perhaps I'll send formal notice that I'm vacating instead." Ness inhaled deeply through her nose, the artificial citrus scent of the bathroom tickling her sinuses. She couldn't afford to lose a tenant. As horrible as Bethany was, she did pay her rent on time. "I have a 2-bedroom unit available in another cat-free house. It's being updated now, or would be once she got home and started the work. Why don't we arrange for you to see it when I'm back in town in a couple of weeks?" Silence. "I would happily match your current rent for the first 6 months," and cry a little bit as she watched her bank balance creep ever lower. "Fine, but you'll also be seeing that complaint." "I would expect nothing less." Ness ended the call and checked the time again. 9:54. Shit. In the blue on the sands lobby, Ness hit the elevator call button repeatedly and with unnecessary but satisfying aggression. The shiny silver doors slid open, revealing an empty car, thank God. She retreated to the back corner, not really believing she'd made it. A full 24 hours later than she'd planned, thanks to a leaking washing machine in one of her rental units, a missed flight, and a tornado warning that temporarily grounded all planes at the Toronto airport. She was here. Was she sure she wanted to be here? For sure. Mostly. Probably. Ness smoothed a hand over the high bun she'd quickly twisted her Florida humidity-accosted hair into, wishing for the 100th time that her luck wasn't such garbage. The hotel had apologized profusely for temporarily misplacing her reservation, and she'd graciously accepted their promise to coordinate with the production staff on site to get her accommodations sorted out, but she would have happily emptied her bank account for a shower. At least she'd been able to leave her duffel at the front desk instead of schlepping it with her. She tried not to think about rolling into one of the most important days of her adult life looking like she'd run here from Canada. Sure, the others had seen her at her less than best, but that was nearly 20 years ago, when she'd had the dewy skin and pep of a well-hydrated 22-year-old. Now, she'd been subject to years of forehead crinkle-inducing stress.